Hello, dear friends. It's me again from the Donghua family channel. Are you curious about where the story between Qin Mu and Ling Yuxiu will go after successfully spoiling the mood with Hu Linger? I thought we were in for some sweet, romantic scenes, but no. Today's episode will bring us an unexpected reunion and an earth-shattering display of power. Let's start the detailed review of the episode right now. At the end of the previous episode, after being interrupted by Hu Linger, Ling Yuxiu was furious, but could do nothing. As for Qin Mu, being inexperienced in matters between men and women, he didn't think much of it. An uneventful night passed just like that. The next morning, Qin Mu woke up very early. The peaceful scenery of the village, with the crowing of roosters and the bleating of goats, made him feel as if he had returned to the disabled, elderly village. Just then, two familiar voices were heard from outside the village gate. "There's a village here. Let's go ask for directions." Ask for what? There's no way I could be lost. Qin Mu looked towards the source of the sound and saw a blind man leaning on a bamboo staff and a scraggly bearded old man with only his upper body, arguing. Recognizing Grandpa Blind and Butcher, he joyfully ran out and embraced them both. Although the blind man missed him dearly, he pretended not to care, continuously grumbling about how Butcher kept leading him astray, making a full circle from the borderlands all the way back to the Great Ruins. At this moment, Ling Yuxiu had just finished washing her hair. Seeing the two old men, she couldn't help but feel terrified. She realized these were the same two men who had frightened her on the surging river that day. Without any delay, Qin Mu pulled out the brilliant golden lower half he had taken from the treasury the day before from his cloth bag. He asked doubtfully, "Grandpa Butcher, is this your missing lower half?" Butcher examined it and tried cutting it with his saber. As soon as he saw the golden essence blood flow out, he slowly replied, "It's not. This seems to belong to Shaman Sovereign. I've fought this old geezer before. I'm very familiar with his essence blood." Hearing this, Qin Mu had a realization and said confidently, "If Shaman Sovereign's lower half is here, then Grandpa Butcher's lower half must be on Shaman Sovereign's body." Hearing this, Butcher became incredibly pleased. He stroked his beard and laughed loudly, his voice booming. "Does this old geezer admire me that much? My lower half is on his body, so if he gives birth to a child, is it his or mine?" Hearing these words, the blind man unhurriedly uttered a sentence that immediately extinguished Butcher's smugness. "If he really gives birth to a flock of children for you, will you accept them or not?" After a round of banter, the two old men finally sat down to listen to Qin Mu recount the story of infiltrating the Golden Palace. It was only then that they revealed the purpose of their trip was also to go to the Lulan Golden Palace to find Butcher's lower half. At this point, Qin Mu was overjoyed and said confidently, "As long as we find Shaman Sovereign and chop off his lower half, I can help Grandpa Butcher reattach his body." Next, upon hearing that High Official Bashan was still trapped, Butcher, despite verbally complaining about his talkative disciple, immediately set off. The group climbed onto the back of the green bull and returned the way they came. Along the way, Ling Yuxiu and Qin Mu continuously talked about the complex political situation in the borderlands. Suddenly, the blind man said, "Stop. Over there. I see people fighting over there." The green bull and Ling Yuxiu were bewildered. How could a blind man see? Seeing their confusion, Qin Mu quickly explained, "Grandpa Blind is the person with the best eyesight in our village." Indeed, as they headed southwest, they saw on a distant mountain the glint of a saber flashing. As they got closer, the scene was utterly horrifying. 8 shaman kings with bizarre forms were besieging one person on the mountaintop. In the center of the attack, the light of a saber still slashed horizontally and vertically. It was High Official Bashan. Butcher glanced over and said with a sigh of relief, "The loudmouth is fine. Let's go back." Having said that, he suddenly shot up into the sky. A brilliant streak of saber light tore through space. Immediately, a terrified scream rang out. Heavenly Khan. In midair, a human head tumbled down. The bird-headed shaman king, the strongest of the 8, had been finished off with a single strike. Butcher landed back on the bull's back, told the green bull to turn around, and said, "Your master's fine. Even if he gets injured more, he can still fight his way out. We're going to the Lulan Golden Palace." On the mountaintop, High Official Bashan shouted with joy, "Master, it really is you. You abandoned me for so many years." Before he could finish his sentence, Butcher coldly yelled, "Flee quickly." And so, the green bull hastily turned and ran, leaving behind a stunned High Official Bashan cursing in its wake. The group returned to the shore of Ruashui Lake. Butcher said, "Blind man, you and Moore follow me up the mountain. I don't have my lower half, I can't beat that old geezer." Standing before the lake, Butcher took a deep breath and instantly, the wind swirled and the clouds gathered. All the white clouds in the sky were sucked into his stomach. Then, he blew out a breath and the entire Ruashui Lake was lifted into the air like a vertical sea, then blown away into the snowy mountain range, leaving the lakebed completely dry. Ling Yuxiu was utterly shocked. She realized this was a legendary expert whose physical body had achieved godhood. Inside the sacred hall of the Golden Palace, Shaman Sovereign reported with a trembling voice to a withered old man who looked like a piece of firewood sitting on the shrine. "Great Sovereign, the Heavenly Khan has arrived." That old man was someone who had reincarnated 17 times and lived for 18 lifetimes. Hearing the report, he coldly ordered, "With me here, Heavenly Saber won't dare to make things difficult for you. Return his lower half to him, then immediately go and find a sacred child for my reincarnation." Shaman Sovereign dared not disobey. He hastily chopped off the lower half of a junior brother to temporarily attach to himself, then endured the pain and carried Butcher's lower half down the mountain. The exchange happened quickly. Standing to one side, Qin Mu even made a well-intentioned offer. "I am also proficient in medicine. If Shaman Sovereign trusts me, I can help you reattach it." Shaman Sovereign just snorted coldly and left. On the way down the mountain, Butcher told Qin Mu that the old man in the sacred hall was an extremely terrifying being who had lived for nearly 10,000 years and was only half a step away from becoming a god. Today's episode was a real feast for the eyes, wasn't it? From the touching reunion to the domineering power of Butcher. Now his body is complete, but a greater threat from the Great Sovereign has emerged. In your opinion, will Qin Mu be strong enough to confront this monster who is only half a step away from godhood? Please leave your predictions in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, subscribe to the Donghua family channel, and turn on the notification bell to be the first to watch the latest videos. Goodbye and see you in the next videos.